Today on the mic, we're rolling out the red carpet for the original Area Fada, a man who has been shaking Nigeria's conscience for decades. Music rebel, street philosopher, voice of the disenchanted, from marching against military rule to speaking uncomfortable truths to power, Charly Boy has never backed down. Let's talk. Welcome to JNS. All right, so let's get right into the conversation. I mean, recently you have been trending for the renaming of the street names and all of that. But more than that conversation, we've seen a lot of people like iconic Femi Falana or Yemi Shure come out to speak about this being a bigger conversation 2 weeks after, and it's still trending on social media. So let's talk about the Charly Boy that we're talking about here. The Charly Boy that the people of that area decided that, you know, because of the work that you've done, we need to name this after you.
Because anybody who knows a little bit about my background will know where I'm coming from, you know. Like they usually say, an apple don't fall too far from the tree. In my growing up years, I was raised by a very strict disciplinarian, and that was my father. And the general conversation at the time, even as little as 8-10 years old, was about fairness, was about justice, was about equity, was about know who you are, where you're coming from. We didn't know the rich man, who he was. We just knew that it was honorable to do good, to think good, and to be a man of your words. So that's the background. Sometimes we talk to our kids, it's like nothing is getting in, you know, but believe me, you know, I mean, if you bring them up in a certain way, they can never desert that way. And I was brought up in the path of fairness, justice, humanity, and all of that. So,
do you look back at the things that you fought for? I mean, you released songs, you had shows, you went on the streets, you were involved in so many things. But it seems like, you know, we're still fighting for those things now in 2025. How does that make you feel?
Well, not too comfortable, and that's why I'm the president of all frustrated Nigerians. Yeah, because most of us in this country, we're going through some certain kind of depression. Because this is quite a toxic environment. Not good for the youths, not good for the elderly. You know, in this environment, hardly does anything grow. We're at the mercy of criminals, Yahoo boys, who only know about building their own personal empires. Not about the people. It's never been about the people. And like you started saying earlier on, why are people going gaga? Why is this still trending 2 weeks after? Because people's sensitivity have been insulted. This is from the same old playbook. Since the past, let's say 20, 25 years, I can't say I trust the government from here to there. Okay? The governments we had so far made promises they never intended to keep. So you start to ask why. And that's why I said earlier on, let this bus stop issue not be a distraction. Because our priority are just warped. Because we have an old one-bear party, a Montopac party that wants to do as they like. And because there are no consequences and no repercussions for bad behavior, so you think they're just going to let go and you're going to say, okay, when I don't suffer enough for, you know, please pardon us. No.
For the Gen Zs and even some millennials out there, tell us a bit about how that even happened and how that naming of that place became.
Well, you
Charly
know,
Boy.
I used to live there. I started living there in the middle 1980s, thereabout, you know. It was in that house that I released my first album, 1990. They wait for 1990. Okay, after that, and because I lived for almost 3 decades in that neighborhood, I was opportuned to know who and who in that neighborhood. Of course, the people who I know now, usually the voiceless, the aggrieved, the downtrodden, and so on and so forth. But it started with Okada people. And somehow I managed to build a cult followership out of them, because those were the days that the brand people, companies, motorcycle companies, were always chasing me around for endorsement. And part of my reason, before you ask for Charly Boy's endorsement, you must keep like about 100, 200 bikes down. Then we can talk about what concerns me. You understand? So I was doing bonanza for the Okada people. I was giving away bikes for free, You see, I'm an underdog myself. My parents didn't even believe in me. You can imagine. Initially, they didn't believe that this is where I should be. They thought I should be in an office with a suit and tie and grow in the ranks and stuff like that. But I wanted to do my own thing. I was convinced I could do my own thing and succeed at it. Okay? And I had several arguments with my old man, because he said, they're not going to understand this, so they'll think you're mad, they'll think you're this, they'll think. I said, when it's time to let them into my head, I'll change the script. And that's how come I moved from Charly Boy Show to Zoom Time. But still on the backstory, there were a lot of scholarship through my foundation code red that I gave out to young enterprising people I met one-on-one, sized them up, felt that they were focused, they were consistent. I must have given over 30, 40 scholarship. And that's how the issue of the bus stops, they say, I woke up one morning, and because before then it was called First Pedro. I didn't go ask them to do it. They on their own, especially those Okada people who were in my area. They started it. They started calling it Charly Boy Stop, and that was how the name stuck.
Do you think that is lost today? Because we're seeing from your story here, we're hearing the work that you've done, the scholarships, the bikes, and how, at the time you were at the height. Everybody wanted Charly Boy. And so one would think that...
Time and season.
Yes. That one would think that if an endorsement comes your way, you should just want to get what it is for yourself. But you say 100 bikes. Do you think that is lost today?
You don't learn those things. It comes with what's new. For me, I move according to how my spirit guides me and what gives me a good feeling, like I'm on a high. And that's being able to help people who are in distress out. I like doing that. But you see, in these days, I can understand the psychology, the mindset. Everybody's down for his own. Nobody's thinking about the next person. Okay? Because in our days, we were taught that honesty, truthfulness, those were the qualities we had to imbibe. Yeah? And because goodness was being promoted seriously, that's why goodness was all over the place. Everybody wanted to be the best of themselves. But these days, people are so disconnected because of the obnoxious poverty. We have no reason being poor. We have no reason being in this jam that we're in right now. But it's because we've had people of no consequence, criminals, Yahoo boys, people we can't even verify their pedigree, where they're coming from. Do we know who they are? Who is their father? Who is their mother? Those were the questions I used to hear in the 50s and in the 60s. Okay, fine. Which home does he come from? That's how you know people who are well trained and jagudas who are street boys. It's okay. I know I prance around like an ajekpako, but I can tell you that's otherwise, judging from my pedigree.
Yeah.
But I was just this guy who wanted to get into the bush and discover myself. So there was no stopping me.
Even though you were very instrumental in fighting in the past and are still doing the work now, a lot of the young people now still blame that generation. A lot of the young people still feel like that generation did not do enough, or that generation stole from the people, and that generation is still stealing from the people. What do you say to those young people, and do you think that that is wrong or right to say?
In a way, I think it's right. We should have been able to do more. So I apologize on behalf of my generation that we could have done a lot more than we did.
Yeah, and so this is where we are at now. What can the young person out there do?
Oh, they have tremendous power that they just don't. Even if only the social media now, they know what, they have tremendous power. I've always believed in the youth of this country. When I look at the youth in the diaspora, and I see how proud that they make Nigerians. In America, they're the best paid, well-to-do immigrant community, even globally. You understand? So there's no way you can tell me we have those kind of brains. I know there is brain drain these days,
Yes,
because the best of us has left.
Yeah.
Now the worst of us are ruling. The few best of us that are left. Yeah, so when I talk about the exceptional use, I'm making reference to the few people I've met, because I've met a lot of wonderful people in my life. So I believe that the salvation lies in the hands of those people. And it's not an all-comers, you know, because for some people, their mumu still they wear, their mumu na follow come, you know, factory fitted. Those are not the people I'm talking about.
All right, so let's talk about this present day government. There are lots of arguments by the people in support of the APC that the APC is doing right by the people, and that this poverty that the land is facing is necessary because of previous governments, and this has to happen.
Absolutely not. When you're for the people will know you're for them. When you're for the people, you should prioritize, you know, what you're doing. It should be the people first before the servants. What we have right now are people who are trying to build their personal empires. And corruption has become a legal tender. The corruption we did now, it passed the one we did for Buhari time. Times 10. Because there are no consequences, obviously. But they will tell you, shall go to court. Because they know they bought up the whole, you know. So this is a crappy system. Look at what is happening in America.
Yes.
Yeah? America is going down thanks to Donald Trump. Okay? Donald Trump has made me understand that most leaders worldwide are just down for themselves, their family, their empires. Donald Trump is the epitome of that.
People argue that, you know, someone like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu helped to put Lagos State where it is now.
Ijenu. For where? I beg, ask me another question. You see these people, they're demons. Don't joke with them. They're demons. All I'm interested in right now, will our vote count in 2027? How do we do it? How do we get these monsters away from leadership position? These riffraffs, how do we throw them away? We can't keep waiting for Jesus to come, because he ain't coming anytime soon. We need to save ourselves first.
So you say that Jesus is not coming, the Messiah is not coming anytime soon, and we need to take our future in our hands.
Precisely.
And people are saying that the ADC might be the way out, the coalition. When you heard about that, what did you think?
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. There's a man after my heart. I don't pretend about that. The man whose words and messaging resonates with somebody like me. The rest are scumbags. And unless he's leading a particular party, I'm really not interested in the election.
Is this man Peter Obi?
Yes, he is. The Rock. Okute.
People say that, yes, his message is gaining ground with a lot of young people. But the argument there is that he may not be able to win the election, especially when it comes to parts of the north.
Yeah, because of how they play. These people are, I mean, yes, I could say they're criminals. Fela said they are vagabonds in power. These are criminal-minded people. It's not to say, don't get it twisted, that they are saints. Peter Obi is not a saint, but I like his soothing words to the people, to the less privileged, to the unfortunate Nigerians. In a country this poor, now they look at the kind of money that they are spending. Do we feel it? No. Instead, we're getting poorer and poorer and poorer by the day. They are talking as they're oblivious of what we're going through. And you want me to trust those kind of monkeys? Oh, no.
You don't think that, to win, you still need to play the game of politics? Because again, you said how
the country is.
you
still, I can, the little I know, it's not what I want to discuss over on television. Something has to give. This is not sustainable. This kind of roguery, stealing, it's not sustainable. Something will burst. That I know for sure. All that I pray for in our quest and our search and our suffering for the Nigerian of our dreams, everybody must be ready to understand that blood will flow. Before it gets better, it will get worse. We dey talk about 2025. Wait now, make 2026 come. Then it will clear everybody for eye.
All right, so you say that blood must be shed. That is no way for us to have the freedom that we seek. But
that really is not my wish. But like they say, you can't make omelets without breaking eggs. These rogues and hooligans have invaded our space. And you know what they do. They're very violent people. They're very demonic people. Okay? And they're not going to give it up without a fight. But I'm hoping to see rig and die come 2027.
At some point, you're quoted to have said Nigeria is not worth dying for, even after you had fought so hard for the people and given every bit of yourself. And now you're saying that blood must still be shed.
You have to die for something. You have to die for what you believe in. That was how I was raised. What you truly believe in. I believe in this country. It's unfortunate we're going through. A lot of other countries have been through what we've been through. Too. Like I will always keep saying, I hope it happens in my lifetime. Maybe after I die, but I hope it happens in my lifetime. So at least something to me, put a smile on my face. But I doubt it. But it has to happen for us to move forward. And it's not going to be easy.
If we move away from the executive and move to the judiciary, and I'm talking about the judiciary because of your past, because of your history, we cannot talk about the Nigerian legal system and not talk about the Okuta panel and talk about how instrumental that was at the time. In fact, a video was trending recently about former President Olusegun Obasanjo answering questions then, and Nigerians were saying it's impossible that a lawyer is asking a sitting president these types of questions, that cannot happen in 2025. When you look at the judiciary we had then and what we have now, what do you say to that?
I used to have heated arguments with my father about the state of the judiciary before he passed on in, I think, 2014. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he will always say something like, be more hopeful, it's not as bad, blah, blah, blah. I said, your own time don't pass. Because what I'm seeing now will lead to bigger evil.
Yes. What were you seeing at the time?
What I was seeing was that the judiciary was going to get more corrupt. And I saw all of this happening in the now, way back then. And there was a time I was trying to get the little bit of money I had away from this country, just whether I will relocate. And I had to sit and talk to myself, where else will I be comfortable in this whole wide world, if not in Nigeria? As messed up as the place is, where else will I be comfortable? Anytime I travel, go even reach 2 weeks, I want to come back to the same
Nigeria.
BS. I'll die for anything I believe in. And I'm waiting for the day the Nigerian youths will say, I mean those exceptional ones I keep talking about, will say enough is enough. And they will say, Father, we won't make you come out, now you go come lead. That'll be my happiest day. Put me in front. I don't mind taking a bullet. But that mission must not fail.
People will say that, but people gave their lives in 2020. Until today, we have a government, a former government, that is still saying people did not die. And so people will say, if people died...
But I told you, you can't trust them now. This is what they do now. They lie through their ass, through their nose, through their ear. They are bunch. These are criminals. Don't you know what it means? It's like we're running a mafia system. What else can I say?
So as we expand more on the state of the nation, people have been talking about this, and people argue that tribalism is playing such a key role here. And that should not be found in a place like Lagos that is such a melting pot. That Lagos is not just Lagos because of Yoruba people, but the Igbos and people from all around have also played a huge role here.
It's true, because I think it's all silly and petty, and I've told you earlier on in the conversation, that's what they do. That's the same. These people, they can't think. They don't get sense. They don't get brain. They can't think. They're not out here for us. It's all about if it thief past Mr. B. That's what they've come to do, So, yes, because even with the bus stop incident, I didn't pay it any mind, but in my head I was like, these people are so silly and so petty, So that bus stop, they give me money? No, but why is it that when politics starts to approach our campaigning season, they now start to pitch us against one another? They've been doing this now. Or they use religion to divide us. But for the people stealing our national patrimony, you go see Igbo man there, you go see Hausa man there, you go see Yoruba man there. All the tribes are represented in the stealing. It's only when it comes time for election, then go say, don't trust this one, Igbo guy, or don't trust this person, Yoruba guy. We know the game now. But for how long are people going to keep accepting this and pretending that they don't even know what's going on?
So how do we carry this message to the people on the streets? Because at the end of the day...
I don't know. That's why, I keep talking like they get diarrhea from mouth. I have to say it. I can't physically... I'm not a spring chicken anymore. forget, say, my shoes still shine, my face still shine. But I know I'm not a spring chicken. So I can't, that hanging by hanging to go on the street, I can't do that. All I can do right now is to keep talking, keep encouraging those young exceptional youths to do something. We're dependent on them. We're sorry if we didn't do as much as was expected of us. But please, it's only them. And I still believe that a change is coming, regardless of how bad it may look.
But let us look back at the time that you've had. You've had such a life. What are some stories that you may not have shared of the life that you have lived as the Charly Boy that we know?
I've lived my life in the nude, of course. In the market square, of course. I've lived a sagacious life with great audacity. I don't know where I got the effrontery or the courage to just stand out and do things my own way. The greatest job I have on this earth, I've had on this earth, was taking good care of my parents. Maybe some people will argue that I was making restitution for all my stubbornness because I spoiled from Bel-Air. At 16, 17, I've already, my first son is 52, 53, I forget. 10 children, different baby mamas. I don't rock my life. Not beside to tell you, I don't rock my life. And I put myself in danger. You're going to read all about it. You see this? What is it?
999?
999, yes. 999 is an angelic number. It's a number of angels. It simply means new beginning. And I'm using my new beginning to talk about something that really concerns me. What I went through, you know, in this later part of my life. As my prick know the rise, as I get erectile dysfunction, all of that is in this book. Because this book is my memoirs, my life experiences, both the bad, the ugly, and the very good.
How do you receive the news that you are having prostate issues? When we watch your story, when we see your life, it almost feels like you are not from this world. Charly Boy cannot die. Charly Boy is strong. So when you hear that, how do you receive it and see how it affects your life going forward? How do you receive that news?
You know, I'm a very vain person, so I love myself. But since I turned 50, I've always been health conscious. I picked up some bad habits, especially from that my father, because he gave me my first nicotine, my first cigarette.
Do you remember what age that was?
I think I was about 17.
Wow.
That guy did so much to me, Shaq, but good things. You know, that was the only bad thing he did, you know. And since then, I've been hooked. I've been battling with my nicotine addiction, you know. From time to time, I quit because I understand I must leave my lungs cleaner. And I think that's my only problem, because I don't drink. Yeah. I wish I could give up nicotine forever. I was not so much discombobulated like that, because I know as long as I'm doing the right things and I keep having regular checkups. But there was a problem, because before I really did zeroed in on what's happening in this region, I was being told that the normal PSA is 0 to 4, and mine was just 2 point something. So that was kind of deceitful until I started to complain to my doctor, you know, that this thing is becoming a challenge, you know, and coupled with the erectile dysfunction I was going through at the time. So it was now when they now did narrowed it down that they discovered that it was sort of getting cancerous. And we had to, in fact, after I was told that, 2 days I was in a hospital to do that non-invasive operation. Okay. I was just lucky because in the sense that it's something they prepare me, everybody must know. See, something is wrong somewhere. You know, women are filled with too much ego. You know, like how they brought us up, men can't cry. They have to chest everything. They have to show that they're... I don't believe that too. Anything pepper me too much, I go cry now. You know, if anything affects me, you know, in a bad way, I'll cry. I have no time to be... Because my people say if you hide sickness, that sickness will hide you. You know? So this is the awareness we're trying to create through the Charly Boy Foundation. That people have to speak up. At least you have a friend you can confide in. Talk to that person. You know? Because now from my church now I discovered the doctor that operated on me, who is in London, but he's a Nigerian, of course. And he came to Nigeria to do that operation.
Are you afraid of aging?
No, because I'm hugging aging now. I'm learning how to be lazy, how to sleep like I don't have a problem in this world. I'm learning how to love myself more. I'm learning so many beautiful things I didn't even know of myself in the past. I'm taking it easy because these days they avoid anything called stress because, like I told you earlier on, a lot of people are going through depression. And yes, I used to have that problem in the past, but it's really not what happens to us because a lot of good, bad things will keep happening to us, but it's how we react. And I thank God that I don't get enough sense to know any problem that comes, how I systematically and clinically go about it, so I remove it from my way.
Does this time leave you with any regret as you grow older?
I'll always say there are times and seasons in everybody's life. There was a time I didn't think that I cannot be on a bike, that I will not ride, you know, those big bikes till I die. But look at me. Since the past 9 years, I don't have a bike. I'm not gaga about biking. So I can't regret anything. In fact, all the bad things that had happened, that I've been involved with, at one time I was, you know, when I was 20, 25, thereabout, I was heavily into drugs. I quit cold turkey because I see what it was doing to my friends and my peers. And I said, no, I don't want this kind of life. You understand? So I'm used to, that's why I said, even though, yeah, a lot of people say, there goes an Ejebota, yes. But my destiny was to be a proper Ajekpako. Anything we confess, that's your lot. And then when I discovered the trick about life, about having a good disposition to face whatever comes to you. And then don't forget, I had a great teacher in my father. I think in a roundabout way, me and my father were in hot competition. He was going to be more famous. I became more famous than he is. He was going to have more money. I had more money than he did, you know, and all of that. And I remember before he died, you know, I think it was 2-3 days before he died, he had called me because the nurses were complaining that he didn't want to eat. So I said, before I come down, you must finish this food though, because you're getting me upset. And he gave me this kind of hug. I'll never forget that hug. It was as if to say, my pride and joy. And you know, the first time my father said, I'm proud of you, I fainted, not I nearly, I fainted.
Do you remember how old you were at the time?
No, then I've started Charly Boy.
Okay.
I newly started the brand Charly Boy. I think it was in the 90s. When I took him around, I showed you, this is my property now, this is what I did. He didn't say anything. Even as we came home, because he slept in my house that day, he didn't say anything. It was when he was leaving to go back to his base, then he was involved with the Oputa panel and all of that. That he said, oh, I know you may not understand what I'm about to say, but or you may not even believe, but I'm really proud of you, son. I had to call my mother and say, see what your husband talk. Say what? He says he's proud of me. And that day, it was like, license, go and kill everybody. Yeah.
You talk about your father a lot. How do you look at the relationship you have with your children? And how are you different from how your father
My
raised
children,
you?
my father raised me like a major general. He raised me like we were in the military barracks. He raised me like, you know, we're in the courthouse. He was the judge, the jury, the everything, you know, and you cannot win any case in his court. Yeah. And as a young growing kid, I was very argumentative, you know, I argued about everything, you know. So, and sometimes when I will feel like I've won an argument, he said, look at you, pocket lawyer, you know. I guess he always wanted me to be one, but he was never really bold enough to say, you must do it like this or like that, you know, because he saw he couldn't, I wouldn't even listen, you know. From early enough, he understood that I was just a child that wanted to live life and get his own.
Yeah. And how do you look at that with your children?
With my children, you know, I'm their friend. I don't lord it over them. Even when my last daughter came out of the wardrobe and proclaimed she's a lesbian, and at first I didn't really understand it, you know, and but because I wanted my children to always come to me, to be their bestie, to always confide in me, I was careful how I handled that, even though I didn't really accept it wholeheartedly like that, you know. Like I said, I was careful for it not to affect our relationship. And I think there were a few things that came out in the prayers when he kept firing back at me. I should leave her alone to live her own life. And I just remembered back in the days when I was having my own dig out with my father. So basically, me and my children were quite good.
When we think about all you've done, the life you've lived, the impact you've had, what do you want to be the takeaway?
A man who came, did it his way, believed in himself, and succeeded, and forever remained his authentic self.
That's the perfect way to wrap up this conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. This has been a conversation with the iconic Charly Boy. For Jay's sake, at the end of the day, you have to live your life. But one thing we also know is that we must fight for the kind of lives that we want. You want to see Nigeria better, you have to fight. You want to see things move in a certain direction, we have to fight. We want to win in 2027, we have to fight. So this is a conversation about fighting. We cannot stop fighting until we get the country that we deserve. Thanks for being here on Jay on Air. We have this Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at exactly 6 p.m. on 88.5 UFM. This conversation will be streaming live tomorrow on my YouTube, Jay on Air TV.